News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Trump was speaking again today at his trial, and the opening statements began in the courthouse today, day one. And what's amazing to me is how the number 3 at the Department of Justice, Biden's Department of Justice, the third highest ranking member, something like the Deputy Attorney General of the United States of America, something of that nature. His name is Michael Coangelo, and he literally left the third highest position in the Department of Justice to go be a local prosecutor for this case. Does that sound normal to you? Does it sound normal for somebody to leave the third highest position in the Department of Justice, right underneath the Attorney General, to leave and go to a local job in New York City to prosecute this case? Does that sound normal to you? Or does that sound like it's all being orchestrated by the Biden campaign? I mean, it's obvious, right? Who leaves the third highest position in the Department of Justice to go prosecute a local case? I cannot believe how nakedly rigged this whole thing is. And then we hear Trump talking today after the first day of trial where there was opening statements. I'll give you some details in a second, but listen to Trump talking today. I can't help it when I hear him talking like this in the hallways there, this echo. They're just trying to make him look like a nutball who's guilty and is a loser and everything. And I have to say this, it's horrible. Hearing the echoes, it sounds horrible because it sounds like he's already there. I feel like they're alienating him, ostracizing him, making him look guilty when he's not. Let me play this for you.
To keep me off the campaign trail, because I should be in Georgia now. I should be in Florida now. I should be in a lot of different places right now campaigning, and I'm sitting here. And this will go on for a long time. It's very unfair. This is a case that nobody wanted to bring, including Alvin Bragg. It was just at the last minute they decided to do it. This has never happened before, where the state tries to insert itself in federal elections. Nobody's ever seen it.
So when I hear that and I see that, it just sounds like they've already made him guilty and a loser, and he's campaigning in a hallway now. And he's forced to sit there for 3-4 weeks in a row and watch all this happen and just nod his head, shake his head no, like, what the heck is this? You know, how this is wrong, etc. And yet the people that are going to testify against him, the star witness in this case, a convicted felon and a serial liar, Michael Cohen, his former attorney, is on MSNBC doing interviews all the time right now, saying every time Donald Trump opens his mouth, you know something not truthful is coming out. His old boss is facing a case he calls indefensible. Now, Trump, when he returns fire by saying Cohen is a disgraced attorney and a sleazebag, he's then held in contempt and said, you were going to put you in jail. So the star witness can attack Trump, but Trump can't respond back. Have you ever seen anything like this in your life? Where there's a gag order, but only on one party, and everybody else can attack him? I've never seen anything like this. Have you ever seen when the third highest person in the Department of Justice leaves and then goes to a local case to prosecute somebody? I've never seen that happen before. And so we have the trial beginning today. And we had one of the jurors, juror number 9, actually expressed concerns and doubt about being able to serve because of the level of media attention. That juror is, quote, 100% is not 100% sure they want to be there today. This is that mob pressure. The mob pressure. And if you dare go against the mob, they're going to find out who you are, and they're going to come for you in deep blue New York City, 90% anti-Trump. A couple questions I want to ask you about this at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Does it surprise you to actually hear that the number 3 person at Biden's Department of Justice left to become a local prosecutor on this team? Does that surprise you? Are you surprised to learn he also The same guy who left is now giving the opening statements in today's trial. Literally, the first person to go out there and do the opening statements is the number 3 person in the Biden Department of Justice who just left to go do this today. It is so super coordinated from the top, isn't it? And my worry is that their plan might be working. Today, every day I kind of go, maybe not, maybe this, maybe that. I feel good, feel bad. But today I look at that and I go, my gosh, I think he might have it. This might be having an effect. People might be going, look at this guy. He's in a hallway. He's talking. You can hear it echo. And they're making him look guilty. He can't say anything. All these accusations. It seems almost impossible. So another question I have for you is, do you think Americans see how rigged this trial is? Do you think the average American out there sees how rigged it is? And I sure hope so, because if not, then I think this is going to portend very poorly for us. This is an unbelievable strategy. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Does it surprise you to hear that the number 3 person at the Department of Justice for Joe Biden left to become the prosecutor on this team, one of the prosecutors? Are you surprised to learn he also gave the opening statements today? This is amazing. It's like Joe Biden himself is prosecuting the case, isn't it? 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. And do you think Americans see how rigged this is? Well, I hope so. I think the Democrats took a real risk on this, too. I think Biden did by saying this is going to be their strategy, because if it backfires on them, it's going to be great for Trump. I don't know if this is going to work out right. And today I didn't like the feelings I got. I've just never seen something in our history of our country where one person can't say anything, but everybody else can pillory them and attack them. And you have the top people of the Justice Department coming in to prosecute you when it's a local case. It's amazing. Unbelievable. So juror number 9 today, as I was mentioning, expressing worries about the level of media attention and isn't 100% sure they want to be here today. That's the mob. And as I was mentioning to you the other day, that's where one of the juror members went home and their family started saying, are you that juror? Is that you? And so she said, I'm afraid I can't do this, so I need to bow out. That's because the mob was indicating, we know who you are, we know you're on this trial, and if you don't rule the way we want, we're going to come for you and cancel you. I mean, this is amazing. To hear that confirmation, though, that Matthew Coangelo is literally now the prosecutor in this case, taking over from the Justice Department at Biden, is unbelievable to me. Absolutely unbelievable. And to think that people who have money and are heads of companies don't pay out settlements, non-disclosure things, is absolutely ridiculous. A lot of them do it. Many of them do it. And in this case, that's the same thing. And to be able to prove somehow that is a crime, wanting to save his reputation and his company, this is a very, very pathetic case. You know, this is the only case right now that's scheduled to actually have a verdict before the November elections. This is the only one where we might have a verdict. So this is literally the only one. So this is kind of it. The other ones are most likely, by all experts' opinions, not going to happen and not going to wrap up before November. This is it. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I want to give you more details. I have some exact information on who some of these jurors are and why I am not confident that this is going to be a fair trial. That's up next. Plus, Mike in Tucumcari, New Mexico, wants to talk about how Trump is being targeted. All that's coming up next on the Chris Crock Show at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227 on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3.
President, put him in jail? At the same time,
Joey, is that what you're saying?
Why not? That's exactly what I'm saying, Jim. I mean, look,
That appears to be their strategy, but I'm here to tell you it's not working. It's not working at all. And to be quite honest with you, I don't mind the fact that it's not working because I might not be a supporter of Donald Trump, but I want him to lose the right way. I want him to lose because you have better ideas and you make your case to the American people better than he does.
That's Stephen A. Smith, who definitely is not a Trump fan, saying that you're not making your case and it looks like you're just trying to lock him up. I hope that's what the American people think. I don't necessarily think so anymore. I don't know what to make of this. I hope they see what we see, because if they don't, then this is beyond incredulous to see this going on. And every single piece of this is hypocritical and not legal in any way. Three lines open. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Does it surprise you to hear that the number 3 person at Biden's Department of Justice left to become a prosecutor on this case and is today doing the opening statements for the prosecution? And do you think the average American see how rigged this whole thing is? Because if they don't, we're not in a good place. I'll say it nicely that way. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. By the way, at home, tell your smart speaker to play WBAP today and keep connected, DFW. Let's go to Mike in Tucumcari. You're on News Talk 550. I should say you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Mike. Hello, Mike. You there? I don't hear you. I guess I'll put you on hold. We'll see if you can help figure out what's going on there. Ryan in Dallas, you're on News Talk. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Can you hear me?
I can. Thank you.
That's good. I can hear you too.
And I just, I remember what late, great Rush Limbaugh said, when they first started the machine against him. And, they want to take him down. And not only that, but they want to make it evident to anybody else who'd want to try to walk in Trump's footsteps, that don't even try this.
My hope is...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, he whacked the cabal, so to speak, and you get to see how interconnected it is, from the press to the... just so many entities in society, Justice Department, everything is so corrupted and intertwined in this stuff. And the whole apparatus is coming against it.
I just can't believe what we're seeing, and I can't believe the average American can't see this and go, this is so wrong on so many levels. I can't believe the Democrats were able to pull this off and get to this point. It scares me.
Well, I think there's more components to it than that. What he did was he was an impediment to, they want this globalist order. And not only was he an impediment to that, he tweaked their noses while they were doing it. And man, did he whack the hornet's nest.
Yeah, it's just shocking to see that this can happen like this, coordinated with the head of the Department of Justice, with... a local prosecutor who, this case was looked at by the Federal Elections Commission and by the U.S. Attorney's Office that oversees this area, Southern District of New York, and they both said, no, there's no case here. And then the former prosecutor, Cy Vance, DA in Manhattan, said, there's no case here. And then Alvin Bragg took it over and said, became the DA. He took it over and said, there's no case here. But then one of his top prosecutors left the office and wrote a tell-all book attacking him for not doing it. So then he said, okay, there is something here. As far as our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Does it surprise you to hear today that the number 3 person at Biden's Department of Justice gave the opening statements today in the prosecution case in New York City in the trial, about a local trial? Isn't that amazing? That's freaking incredible to hear that. And it's scary when you see the media, most of the media, say how this is a great case, we want to put him in jail. And then to see what we see today with the Biden DOJ official. Some of the jury members, by the way, that I was mentioning, that some of these interesting details. One man works, he gets his news from MSNBC of all places. Another man is an investment banker, has an MBA in finance. I certainly, if you have an MBA in finance and you're in New York City, I'm kind of like, good luck getting a fair shake out of that, gentleman, but you never know. Juror number 3 is corporate law. He does corporate law, and Jesse Waters with Fox News looked up the website there, the corporation he works for. It's all filled with DEI stuff, which is not friendly to Trump folk at all. Let's go to JD in Brownwood. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, JD.
Yes, sir. There's an interesting video with Coangelo on YouTube talking about 92 different kinds of justices that we've never heard of. And also, he's a pretty dangerous guy, but also they haven't listed a crime yet. They've talked about covering up information from the voters, but Biden and 50 intelligence officers did that in the last election, and they're not going to jail.
You know who else did something exactly like this that never got prosecuted? Hillary Clinton. I was listening to Jonathan Turley, George Washington law professor, on Fox News today, and he said this is the exact same thing that Hillary did. She hired lawyers to get the Steele dossier, and all that was made up by her. She got punished. Remember, she got punished by the Federal Elections Commission. They fined her campaign for doing that?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And they didn't prosecute her criminally. They just fined her. And do you know that her campaign actually fought the fine and then tried to appeal the fine? So she did the exact same thing, and she was never criminally prosecuted like Trump is. She was just fined, and then she fought the fine, which is even funnier, you know? So that's what happens to people that do the same thing that are Democrats, get a little fine.
Clear as day with this case.
Yeah. So do you think the American people are seeing this? Do you think they're seeing how rigged this is? Because I think it's hard for maybe you and me to be, most of us to be unbiased in this. But I don't know if they're seeing how bad this is.
I don't think the people have their eyes.
Sorry, you're breaking up. What?
The people don't have their eyes open.
You're saying the people are not catching on to that's what you're saying?
Yeah, the sheeple don't have their eyes open. They don't know what's going on.
Well, I don't know. I hope they do. I appreciate your call, JD. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Juror number 11 doesn't follow the news, they say, but they do watch late-night comedy shows. So don't worry. They're getting the good information from Jimmy freaking leftist Kimmel. And what's the other guy? Jimmy Kimmel, who cries about Cecil the Lion and rails against Trump. And the other two, I don't even remember their names. They're all against him. And it's all they do every night now. Okay, so don't worry, they get the news from that guy. Oh, that's great. Another one says TikTok. Oh, that's great. The Communist Chinese Party's giving them their information about how evil America is. Okay, thank you. So that is that. We're going to keep you apprised on this trial, obviously. Hey, coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. This is insane, too. This should have almost led, but these are both just top issues to me. The unbelievable raw, open Jew hatred and open anti-Semitism, praises of Hamas. You will hear them praising Hamas in multiple separate times. This is spreading all over campuses today in several other top Ivy League campuses in New York and all over the country. This is really, really scary. Who and what all these people are saying and who they are coming about and doing this. We're going to get into that coming up next. Do you consider these protests to be pro-Hamas and pro-terrorist, as I do? And do you feel this is raw Jew hatred, like we're back in the 1930s again, except this time we in America, not you and me per se, but we are the Germans, at least the people that are shouting these unconscionable things. That's next on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. 800-288-WBAP is our number. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. What we're seeing at our college campuses is very scary, overwhelming, hard to process, and the unthinkable has happened and has surfaced and is continuing to happen. I want you to hear some audio, and I want you to hear a few stories, because it's incredible what we're seeing now. We haven't seen anything like this until what's unfolding. What is unfolding is outright raw anti-Semitism openly. We're seeing Jewish students assaulted. One girl stabbed in the eye with her Israeli flag by a Palestinian protester. Another guy told at Columbia to go back to Poland. I want you to hear this one first because, well, this one you may have missed. This is where they are chanting, "We are Hamas" at Columbia.
We are Hamas!
Yeah, you're Hamas. Wow. That's a good one. You're what? You're Hamas?
Yes, we're all Hamas, pig! Hamas!
Okay, now you also hear this one, which this one is hard to believe is happening in America. Here it is. I'm going to play it for you, and I'm going to make tell you what it means. It's on my Twitter feed. You can see it tonight. If you're not following me on Twitter, do it at Chris Kroc Show. That's at Chris Kroc Show, ChrisKrok. Also on Facebook. Here we go. This is. I'm going to play it, and then I'll interpret. Ya Qassam, which Qassam is Hamas. Ya Qassam, take them out. I'm sorry. Ya Qassam, Hamas, make us proud. Take another soldier out. We say justice, you say how? Burn Tel Aviv to the ground. Hamas, we love you. We support your rockets too. We support Hamas this time. It is right to rebel. Ya Qassam, which is Hamas, give them hell. Okay, so you have burn Tel Aviv to the ground. Hamas, give them hell. Hamas, make us proud. We say justice, you say how. Burn Tel Aviv to the ground. I mean, this is open support of terrorism. These are terrorist rallies. And Jewish students, one gentleman was spat upon, one Jewish man was spat upon. I heard on Fox today. Another, as I mentioned, was told to go back to Poland. Another one was assaulted with a Palestinian flag when she was stabbed in the eye. I'm going to give you a few more unbelievable things that they're being chanted and being sang at these events at Columbia, at Yale, at Harvard. I mean, this is blowing up everywhere. I'll give you more details in a second, but I want to talk to you about this as well. Do you consider these protests that I'm sharing with you at Columbia and at these other universities, do you consider these protests to be pro-Hamas and pro-terrorist? Do you feel this is raw Jew hatred, like we're back in the 1930s again, except this time the Germans are in our country at our elite universities? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. 800-288-WBAP, that's 800-288-9227. We have one Kafaya masked protester came up to Jonathan Lederer's face. He wrote a column today at the Free Press. He came up to my friends with his kafaya, masking his face, held up a sign with an arrow pointing towards us. This is on my Twitter feed. You can see it says, it's got a sign pointing towards us that read, Al-Qassam's next target. Al-Qassam is the military wing of Hamas. So literally standing there with a sign saying Hamas's next target, pointing right at them and holding it up. You literally have our Ivy League students saying, there's the Jews, kill them. Hamas, you rock, kill Jews, burn Tel Aviv to the ground. This is going on in open now. Just after midnight, this Jewish student at Columbia said, just after midnight, the protesters began chasing us towards campus gates. One Jew today said on Fox News that somebody said as he was walking by them, he said he wasn't wearing a yarmulke, he wasn't wearing anything that said he didn't have an Israeli flag, and they said to him, while there were protesters, they said his name, they knew he was a Jew, they knew what class he was heading to, and they said it. He said that on Fox News today. A Jewish man, student, walking by the protest. There he is. There's his name, and that's the class he's going to. They are coming for the Jews. And I don't know what more you need to see to make you realize that we appear to have tens of thousands or more pro-Hitler terrorist supporters in our country openly calling to go after Jews. In some cases, kill them. And I don't know what you think we can do, but this is incredible. I played you audio last week of a young Indian American woman in Bakersfield, California, threatening to murder. She said, "We know where all you live. We're gonna kill you," because they wouldn't play her stupid pro-terrorist, pro-Hamas game. So she threatened to kill him. She was charged with multiple felonies. A good-looking, probably 2-3 years out of an elite school graduate, telling him we're going to kill you. Do you consider these protests to be Hamas pro-terrorists? And do you feel this is raw Jew hatred like we're back in the 30s again? Except this time it's in our country. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I want to share with you as well, Ilhan Omar's daughter, she was one of the protesters at Columbia. She was arrested. Wait till you hear what she's saying now, how much of a victim she is. You've got to hear this in a brand new story that came out today about how she's such a victim after she was arrested for these pro-terrorist, anti-Jew rallies they're having. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. That's next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
Do you condemn the anti-Semitic protests on college campuses?
I condemn the anti-Semitic protests. That's why I've set up a program to deal with that. I also condemn those who don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians.
Okay, he condemns the Jew hatred in the streets of our campuses, but then he says, I also condemn people that don't know what's going on in the streets of Gaza or whatever. You condemn somebody for not being ignorant? He can't just lead and call this anti-Semitism out. Raw and open Jew hatred is what this is. Today they're exploding in MIT, Emerson College, Tufts University, these so-called Palestinian camps, pro-Palestinian camps inspired by Columbia University. One Jewish student in Boston said, I was there shooting yesterday and someone told me no Zionists are allowed in this part of the alley. And I was like, quote, I live here. I pay tuition here. A lot of our friends don't feel safe to leave our buildings. You had another Jewish protester, or a Jewish student at Columbia that was on Fox News earlier today also saying that he was spat on in the face. So this is it. Jews are being hunted down, persecuted, doxxed, and attacked. And they're cheering on Hamas for Hamas to win and to burn Tel Aviv to the ground. I don't think this is freedom of speech, do you? Do you think open support for terrorists in our streets and cheering them and pointing to Jews and saying the next target for Hamas? Do you think that's free speech? I don't. What would you like to see happen to these students? I would like to see them expelled permanently. And I would like to see it on their transcripts that they were expelled permanently. If they have an investigation, if they're found to be in violation of student policy for anti-Semitism, that needs to be on their record. Let them identify clearly to everyone as a Jew hater. Let them be proud of it. Ilhan Omar, my questions for you are at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. On News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Do you consider these protests to be pro-Hamas and pro-terrorist as I do? And do you feel this is raw Jew hatred, like we're back in the 30s again, except this time the Germans are young students? You want to hear something else? nearly half of all Gen Z voters are sympathetic towards Hamas. That is a new poll that just came out, a new survey that came out. It's a Summit / RMG research survey. It was released on the first day of Passover, and it showed that they asked, do you believe that Israel's wealth and military power make its campaign against Hamas unjust? 58% say it's just, but 21% say it's unjust. But the big one is that nearly half of all Gen Z voters are sympathetic towards Hamas. That's a terrorist organization. So there's one more thing to think about in this. I have a Columbia student that said the other day to Fox, I'm scared. I'm deeply disturbed over these anti-Israel protests because I'm scared that these are America's future leaders. I'm scared that these are America's future leaders. Well, aren't these people America's future leaders? Aren't these the interns that Joe Biden has working for him that demand that he pull out of, that he call for immediate ceasefire and pull out of Gaza? That's who his young interns are. He didn't fire them for calling him out on his policy and going after him. He said, I understand. Thank you. So it is Joe Biden's interns at the White House. It is the elite in our schools. It is the daughter of people like Ilhan Omar, Ursa Hersey, who says she's homeless. She's homeless now. She's homeless. And because she was kicked out of her $90,000 per year college, Bernard College, and can't get food after being kicked out of her prestigious $90,000 per year college dorm following her arrest for the anti-Israel protests at Columbia's campus nearby. I was a little bit frantic. I was like, where am I going to sleep? Where am I going to go? She whined to Teen Vogue, says New York Post. All of my S-word thrown in a random lot. It's pretty horrible. I have like 4 shirts, 2 pairs of pants. I don't know when I can go home, and I don't know if I ever will be able to. That is one heck of a victim. That's quite a story, isn't it? Mike in Frisco, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me on.
Welcome.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. My father was in the Air Force and got stationed in Germany. He met my mother, who was German. And so as we grew up, we moved all over the world, obviously, because he was in the Air Force, and we lived in Germany for 3 years. And I was astounded back when I was younger about how many Germans followed Hitler about their hatred of Jews. And it was like, and I have to say this because I'm German, right? But I have to say this, they just fell for whatever they were told to hate Jews. And the Germans just followed along. And now when I'm seeing the headlines of what's happening today, it's the same thing all over again. These people have no clue. They just follow whatever they're being told.
One of the people on Fox that's at this campus, they asked them, they said, one Jewish student said, she said, I went to each one of these people wearing a keffiyeh this past semester, and I asked them gently, would you like to go to coffee? I'd love to discuss this. And they said, no, we don't. She said, well, do you know what the keffiyeh stands for? Do you know why you're wearing it? They didn't. All they know is they hate Jews, they hate Israel, and Hamas rocks, and Gaza are victims, and wipe Israel off the face of the map. But they don't even know why they feel the way they feel. They're just being told.
Right. And it was the same thing in Germany back in pre-World War II. They were taught to hate Jews. All the propaganda was hate Jews, and I'm watching it all over again.
Oh, in God's name is this happening openly?
Yeah, it's really scary to watch it all happening all over again.
Well, my hope and prayer is that we all coalesce against this, because I'm going to tell you right now, I want to be there at those campuses with the Jewish students and stand with them. I mean, I would love to be there with them and hold up the Star of Israel, the flag, the Israeli flag. I really would love to do that. Hey, I want to tell you, too, by the way, if you're on the go, keep connected, DFW. Download our free app at WBAP, the WBAP app. Something I wanted to mention. Oh, hey, Stephen Irving, you're on News Talk 820 WBAP and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hello.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. So, yeah, I'm not down with their actions at all, but I say, let them use their First Amendment and let them have their free speech, because I want to know who these people are. I don't want to is what we're really facing. Let them expose themselves for what they are so we can see who they are.
I would like it, but they wear kafayas. They don't want you to know who they are. I am all for the school, when they get arrested, kick them out and put it on their transcript. I want them to be known. It's funny, they don't want you to know who they are, do they? Most of them, almost all of them, do they?
Well, that's true, but at the same time, look at how the school board or the school board, look how the colleges are reacting, and exposing themselves for where they stand and what they stand for.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Let them expose all of this, and that way we know who they are. And
I would be okay with that if we could see who they were, but they don't want us to. They cover their faces up.
We don't know who's running that college?
No. I'm saying about the actual protesters calling for Hamas to kill the Jews. Hey, I got to roll, brother. I appreciate your call. I want to explore that a little bit more. Producer Gary, you're talking about you were just in college, a couple years ago at UNT, and you agree with me? You think these people are cowards? They don't want you to know who they are? It's kind of like the same thing about a lot of these leftists that go nuts. They don't want to be held accountable, do they? When they scream at people, spit on them, and swear at them and call them vile names? I wonder why that is.